Okay, sit yourself on your lift and then just come into a good cross-leg position. Just hold on to your knees and lift and open the chest. Drive the chest upwards. So really feel that you can elevate the front chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just spend a moment listening to the sound of the breath. Just listen to the gentle ebb and flow of the breath. Filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. Observe how the breath sounds like the waves of a beach just coming into the shore and leaving the shore and going back into the sea. As though the inhalation is connected to the incoming wave and the exhalation sends that water back to the sea. Feel that you can feel the feeling of the sun on the skin, the wind on your skin, and the sounds of the birds in the sky. Just release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Just continuing to draw the water toward you with the in-breath and return it to the water with the out-breath. With the in-breath, we draw in the energy from the ocean, and with the out-breath, we return negative energy into the sea. Which gets absorbed into the mass of the ocean. Gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. So it could be from the simplest thing in our lives that brings positive energy into our existence. Hold on to that feeling of abundance as you release your hands down toward your knees, and then raise your head and allow your eyes to softly open. Hold on to your knees. Lift and open the chest, drive your spine upwards, take a deep inhalation in through the nose, and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across, your ribs across, your shoulders across. Using your out breath to intensify the turn. Again, working with ahimsa, working in a non-violent way. Just feeling the sensations rather than forcing the sensation. Come back to the center, hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest, take a deep inhalation. And then turn to the left, drawing your abdomen across, your ribs across, your shoulders across. And then come back to the center. Just come off your lift. Sit down onto your heels for a moment. Have your knees apart, your big toes together. Just feel how your legs connect into the ground. Just allow the legs to kind of sandwich into each other. Just allow gravity to draw the legs down into the floor and to stretch out the fronts of the shins. Lift the chest upwards, driving the chest upwards, pressing the shins into the shin skin. Shin bone into the shin skin to activate the thighs, to activate the chest. Take a deep inhalation and then come forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana. Pressing the fingers into the floor, pressing the palms of the hands into the floor, keeping your arms straight, and then stretching your arms away. Just feel your connection with the ground. Feel how the shins maintain their connection. Notice how you can draw the tailbone down a little more towards the heels, and then lengthen from the hips into the armpits, into the elbows, into the wrists, into the palms, into the fingers, into the fingertips, into the fingernails. Stretching the armpit region. Lengthening the armpits and broadening the armpits, drawing the shoulder blades together, trying to get the armpits to look out to the sides of the room. So we're activating the physical body, we're waking up the physical body. Come up onto your knees, have your little fingers on the edge of the mat, stretch the thumbs towards each other, turn your toes under, and then with bent knees to start off with, come up into dog down. Lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling, draw your shoulder blades in towards your spine. Let your head hang down. And then straighten your legs, tighten your kneecaps, turn the fronts of your thighs inwards, turn the backs of the thighs outwards, lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling. Take Deep inhalations, deep exhalations, just hearing the echoes of the sea within the breath. Focusing on exhalations, allowing that exhalation to empty the lungs. Okay, step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position. Just get your blocks for your hands for half uttanasana. Have your feet as wide apart as your mat, turning your toes in so that the heels and the little toes are in line with the edge of the mat. Raise your arms up, extend up to the ceiling. Have your arms wide apart, just to give you space to lift up into the chest. And then bring your arms so they're parallel to each other in urdhva hastasana. And then hinge at the hips, keep your arms lifted. And then hinge at the hips and then reach down and find the blocks. With the hands underneath your shoulders, press the fingertips into the blocks and lift up into the armpits. Activate the legs, tightening the kneecaps, hitting the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, lifting the seat bones up towards the ceiling, extending the chin and the chest away from the legs. If you can go down a little lower, then do. Just feeling that you incrementally extend a little more deeply, whichever stage of the wherever the blocks are. If you can go down to the floor, and do. Working with the inhalation, bringing in energy, and the exhalation, just releasing negative energy. If you can reach around the backs of your heels, holding onto around the ankles, and then trying to lift the feet with the hands, but stamping the feet down at the same time, lifting from the heels up into the hips, and then keeping the front chest long as you draw the body through the legs. So just be mindful of your back, just stay at the level at which your back feels safe. Okay, and then release your hands just underneath your shoulders. Just come back one more time, back into half uttanasana. And then bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up, and then come up into tadasana. Just be in tadasana, inner edge of the feet together, lifting the kneecaps, turning the thighs inwards, tucking the tailbone in, lifting the abdomen up to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, lengthening the shoulders down to the fingertips, lengthening the neck into the head, breathing evenly and deeply, listening to the sound of the breath. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards the chest, and then step or jump your feet apart. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out. Bring the chest to face the front, and then just come down into trikonasana, just feeling that stretch of the legs, using whichever equipment you need to help in the pose, just feeling that stretch of the legs and turning the chest up towards the ceiling. Just breathing evenly. Just feeling inside your pose. Just activating the feet, lifting the shins out of the feet, lifting the kneecaps away from the shins, the thighs up into the hip socket. So lifting out of the feet into the hips, up into the spine, out into the arms, up into the neck, into the chest. Reach up with the top hand, come back to the center, swap your feet around. So you turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. And then reach over to the left side. Again, lifting out of the feet into the shins, lifting the shins out of the ankle sockets, lifting the kneecaps away from the shins and the thighs away from the kneecaps, up into the hip socket, lifting up into the chest, turning the chest up to face the ceiling, breathing as though the sea is connected to the breath. Just using your knowledge of the pose to activate change within the pose. Bring the top hand down onto the inside of the left foot. Bring your left foot hand onto the little toe side of the foot. Turn that right leg back and then step back with the left leg. Come up into dog down. Just feel the lightness of the pose after trikonasana. Just maintaining that ocean connected breath. And then step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position, and then just back into tadasana. Just be in tadasana, lifting so the big toes and the heels touching, lifting out of the feet up into the arms, out of the feet into the legs, into the hips, into the chest, into the arms, and then raise your arms up, urdhva hastasana. Interlock your thumbs and then splay the hands out like you're doing a butterfly silhouette. Try and pull the hands apart, keep them interlocked with the thumbs. Just to activate the side ribs. Swap the interlock of the thumbs, raise your arms up. Release the interlock of the fingers, raise the hands up again. Bring the thumbs into the crease of the elbows, wrap your fingers around your elbows. Just come halfway if you're protecting your back. So bring your arms onto the back of a chair. Otherwise, bring your feet hip width apart, turning your toes in, and then come forward And then just hang down into uttanasana, into full uttanasana. Or just bringing your elbows or even your hands, just stretching them out for half uttanasana if you're protecting your back. Just lift. Continue to feel how the feet connect to the floor. Lifting the insteps consciously if you can. And then lifting, hitting the shins back so that your weight is in your heels, and then lifting the shins out of the ankle socket, lifting the kneecaps away from the shins, lifting the thighs away from the kneecaps up into the hip socket, right up into the hip socket. Letting the top of the body hang down. Maintaining that connection with the ocean breath and connecting especially with the out breath. And then release your hands down to the floor. Bring your hands into your hips and then bend your knees on the way up if you need to come up into a standing position. Just come down onto the floor into supta, baddha, konasana. Come down onto your back. Get hold of the shins, pull the feet in towards the seat bones, let the knees fall apart. Just rest your hands on your lower ribs. Push the heels consciously together. So support your thighs if there's, put some blocks underneath your thighs if there's stiffness in your hips. But before you do that, activate your feet, press the heels together. Press the outer edge of the feet together, press the toes together. Really consciously activating the legs. If you still need support under your thighs, then put the support there. So we're going to do a little brahmari pranayama in supta baddha konasana. This is a really nice way of, you feel the vibration of the sound in a whole different way when you are directly on the floor. So it helps us to ground the physical body. So just take normal breaths for the moment. Just observing that connection with the ocean, working specifically with the out breath. So remember that brahmari pranayama is a normal inhalation, and you hum the exhalation on a low note until the lungs feel empty, and then just stop the humming sound, and then you go back to a normal inhalation and humming on a low note on the exhalation. So just normal breath for a moment. And then take an exhalation, followed by a normal inhalation. Just feeling how the resonance of your voice connects you to the ground. Just one more. And just maintain that resonance, that feeling of resonance of the voice. Feel that energy in the chest. Just feel the the connection with the floor. Feel the connection of the breath. Just very gently draw your knees towards each other. Have your knees together and your feet apart just for a moment or two. Pressing the feet into the floor, having the knees together. Just allow yourself to press the lower back into the floor. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then get hold of the outer edge of your feet. And then just let the feet come apart and just have a little rock from side to side. Just with the feet apart. Just having a little rock in the happy baby pose. Really opens up the hips. And then just bring your legs back down, bring your feet back down onto the floor, just close to the seat bones. And then just bring your right knee in towards the chest, pull it in towards the chest. Keep your left foot just on the floor behind the seat bone, and bend in that knee, that left knee. And then bring the right foot over the top of the left thigh, drawing that heel into, if you can, the inner pelvic bone on the left side. Holding onto the foot, draw the knee away from the body, just stretching that leg that right leg away from the body. So we're going to go into supta kapotasana, the reclining pigeon. So just pushing the right thigh away from the body at this stage. And then just gently release. And then bring the left knee towards you. Interlock your fingers behind the left knee. And then with the right foot still on top of the left thigh, draw that left knee in towards the body. So you get that stretch at the back of the gluteus muscle on the right side and on the hamstrings of that right leg. Pulling that left knee in towards the body. If you could get the foot into the inner pelvic bone, then there's also a massage of the abdomen. And then just release that left knee, just release the right foot, and then just bend both feet. Just stretch out the legs a little if you need to. And then pull the feet in towards the seat bones as close as you can get them. Bend up the left knee, bring the left, hold on to the front of the left knee, draw that left knee in towards the chest. And then cross the left foot over the top of the right thigh. And then if you can, bring it into that left heel into the inner pelvic bone on the right side. And then just holding onto the foot, work to lengthen that left leg away from the body. Just be mindful of not overworking your knee if there's knee issues. Just feel the connection of the body on the floor, lengthening out that left side, and then just gently release the left leg. Just let that left leg for the moment just be soft, and then bend the right knee in towards the chest, hook the fingers behind the back of the right knee, and then draw that right knee in towards the chest. Pulling that knee towards the chest, feeling the left gluteus muscle stretching. Breathing evenly and deeply, listening to the breath. Okay, and then just gently release the right leg, just uncross the left leg, and then just bring the feet back down onto the floor, and then just stretch your legs out along the floor, just extending into your heels, pulling the toes toward your kneecaps. So really active tadasana action. Stretch your arms up towards the ceiling, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then lengthen your arms along the floor. If there's any stiffness in your shoulders, put a couple of blocks or a folded blanket underneath the hands. Otherwise, just using the floor. Just see where you connect to the ground naturally and where you don't. So the abdomen and the lumbar spine tends to lift off the floor, and that's natural. That's the kind of suspension of your, it's the kind of shock absorber of your spine. But see if you can draw the abdomen towards the spine a little, to draw the abdomen a little closer to the lumbar spine, a little closer to the floor. Release your arms up to the ceiling, swap the interlock of the fingers so that the opposite index finger is on the top. Stretch your arms up along the floor and then lengthen your arms along the floor again, away from your head. Just really activating the legs, pushing from the hips into the heels, pulling the toes towards the kneecaps, pressing the backs of the knees in towards the floor, the fronts of the thighs towards the backs of the thighs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, just drawing the tailbone in so that you bring the lumbar spine down a little closer to the floor. And then just release your arms, draw your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a little grounding massage, and then rock yourself up into a seated position, just come into cross legs. So we're going to do brahmari, just a little tiny bit more brahmari just for a moment or two. So hold onto your knees and lift the front chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation, deep exhalation, deep inhalation, and then humming until the lungs are empty. And just one more. And then bring the breath back to a natural rhythm. Just normal inhalations, normal unhummed exhalations. Just observe the quietness over the brain. Hold onto your knees, lift and open the chest, and then turn to the right side. Just observe how maybe after the practice we have done this morning there is a little more turn to your turn. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift and open the chest. And then turn to the left, just observing if one side has more turn than the other. Just observe and acknowledge. And then come back to the center. Just come down onto your back, but then roll onto your front. And then just lay along the front of the body. Create a little pillow for your forehead with the two hands, and then just rest your forehead down onto the backs of your hands. So rather than sirvasana, we're just laying on our front. So it's a similar pose, just a variated version, a little bit like the restorative surfboard, but without the equipment. This helps to rest out the back. It helps us to just feel our contact differently with the ground. So that's a physical body release. Feeling your connection with the ground, with the earth. Feeling how the front of the body can release into the floor. Okay, just when you're ready, just raise your head, just come onto your elbows, and then just sit back on your heels for a moment. Just sit with the big toes together, the knees apart, stretching forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana. And then just sit yourself back up. Just come back into a cross-legged position. With the hands in the Namaste, just a final spinal lift. Just drawing your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And then just allow your eyes to softly open as you raise your head, and allow the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel like you've stretched yourself out, but you've kind of just given yourself kind of a feeling of grounded balance in your energy. So thank you very much for joining me.